Welcome back to the Peter H channel, and today I'm looking again at the DT125R, this time the right hand crankcase which contains the gearbox at the moment, and hopefully we're going to get that gearbox right out. So when I split the crankcases, the gearbox stayed right hand side. I'm just wondering whether it will come out as a whole unit. Yeah, it doesn't look like it will. So these are the shaft pivots. Fork shafts. So if we take these out, slightly easier said than done for some odd reason. Just make sure everything's loose. Whenever I do that, it then turns a bit. Don't want to force anything. I mean, the main thing about the gearbox here is that I found this what I thought originally was a selector shaft fork, but that was a bit naive to think that. So I'm going to have to inspect the gearbox. I mean, on a cursory look, there isn't anything missing, but it does look a bit like a dog that you'd get on the back of the gear, and haven't possibly been able to see properly at the back of all of these. So it's got to be inspected. But I've got an open mind about that. I don't know what it is. I think it's coming. Maybe, well, that one, that's a diddy little one, isn't it? That's only a diddy little thing. I've got an empty container there. I'm going to keep that nice and clean. So that one was the left one. It's quite easy to identify. So I'll look back over the video and identify that. Right, pivoting, and it ain't coming. The selector fork shaft, which goes down there, I've removed the first one on the right, on the left, sorry, with the piston at the front. It's on the left here. Okay, on the left of the selector drum. Now the first thing I've sort of found, there's a circlip which I'm about to try and point out. So here we go, and there's a circlip on the right hand larger of the selector fork shafts. This one's got two selector forks, labelled 1 and hopefully 3. Yeah, it just says 3. 1 and 3. So there's the circlip. Got to try and take this off because I can't get the selector fork shaft out until the circlip's off, and I can't take the rest of the gearbox components out until that shaft is out, because the selector forks are effectively locked in place to the drum and to the dogs and cogs. The other one came out quite easy, number 2. There wasn't anything holding that one in. So there is a rather annoying circlip down there on that shaft, which is probably completely invisible with this camera. Anyway, so the way to do it is to lift the shaft as high, sort of halfway actually, so that you can see the circlip. If I remove the circlip pliers, well, one of them's nicely set up in it, that's the trouble. And the circlip is off of the bottom. There you go, circlip just coming into view as one of the open eyes. And you have to hold the shaft with the other hand, otherwise the shaft will go back down to the bottom of the, to the base of the engine. Anyway, so you lift the circlip up as high as you can up the shaft so the circlips don't have to go down so far. It's easier to pick up on it. It's a two-hand job. I'll try and record it with the other camera. Right, ain't very easy. That's a bit fiddly, I tell you. blimey. Yeah, I've just got to file down the circlip pins a bit, that's all. File down the other one is so good it's stuck in there. But if you don't file them down, they won't stay in there, they won't even go in at all. It's a difficult one, that, because you know, you don't want to file them too small, they'll probably break. File them, leave them too big, they won't even go in the holes. Right, that's safely in there. Weird one. There's one in. Once one's in, the other one don't seem one now. No? They both got to go in simultaneously, but it's not the same. What's this then? Let's have a look at this. Is that it? Certainly looks like it, don't it? Right, one shaft, the circlip groove. And the circlip is still attached to my circlip pliers, which was, I have to say, rather a bugger, you know? Probably due to the pliers. Anyway, so now we can rotate these selector forks. So we've got number one at the top. He wants to come straight out actually, which is a bit. So it goes one cog, another cog, then the selector fork. And that selector fork is number one. Okay, now we've got to make sure this is in the right angle. So what I'm going to do is just turn this over. I'll rotate the selector drum a bit. It's difficult to know what that was hooked up on. Right, that's the selector drum. The other selector fork's dropping down. I can't help it, I've got to have a look at it. Apparently the bearing on this is not removable or changeable, you have to change the whole drum. Anyway, so there's the selector drum. While I was removing the selector drum, this selector fork, which is number 3 I think, it fell down free. 55k it says on that, number 3. But it's what I originally thought was the end of a selector arm. It certainly isn't. It isn't. It's not anything like a DT end of a selector arm. I mean, it's just nothing like it. And then finally number 2. Now, see, this is a weird one. That's in between the third cog down and the fourth cog down. But again, there's nothing wrong with that. Now I think it says 2RH, which is the same as what you'll find on a TZR. Now then, yes, these are supposed to come out together. This one wants to come out, but this one doesn't. I've still left that spacer on there, which is a bit odd really. I'm going to take that off. Now these are supposed to be a single unit, but they've split up on me. What the hell's happened here? Yeah, something went real weird. Right, so let's get back to where I saw the trouble. Right here, there it is. It's that dog unit. There's no question about it. That is the damage. So this is how it sits with the piston my end. This is this input shaft. This is the input shaft 5th gear. This one is 3rd and 4th gear. This is 6th gear, and this is 2nd gear. So this is the output shaft, and that's your 1st gear. And this is your output shaft 5th gear, and this is the one I think that we need to change. So let me just make sure. Yeah. Output shaft 5th gear is missing a dog. So this is 1st gear, and this dog belongs in this gear above it. I don't quite know what that is, but here this gear will need to be replaced because the dog on it is damaged, and this is the piece that I found in the bottom of the engine when I split the crankcases, and it does fit in there. Can't hold it at the right angle. It should be the same as any other dog, but that's where that comes from. And how that happened I don't know, but I expect that 1st or 2nd gear would sound a bit clunky. Although I think that's 2nd gear, so this could be 3rd gear. Anyway, so it's quite a simple task. It's not attached to the shaft. It's a question of removing this circlip and pulling the 1st gear off, replacing that and putting it back together again. Obviously there's quite a lot of wear, possibly where this piece went through the motor. Something's gone down there, something's gone down there. Maybe that's regular wear and tear. It's fairly central. It's similar there, similar there, similar there. Still, that's it for the gearbox. So there's one split pin here. Oh, sorry, there's one circlip here. I called it a split pin because I'm tripping. Split pin. What is a split pin? Oh yeah, something else. So there's the first one. The first circuit. This is a first gear which pulls. There's a thrust washer. Did expect a thrust washer. Which goes like that. Should have expected a thrust washer. It covers up that kind of oil spiral. Okay, so that will go face down. Now, quite simply, this should be the damaged component, which it is. And now I can put it in properly. There we go. JB rolled that in, look. That's how it fitted. How that came off, I have no idea. One for the scholars. The only oil I had was for the DT50MX, which is 10W30. I think this takes 10W40, but I mean, I think that's academic. Interesting to note the wear pattern on the new cog. Looking closely at the, this was a new old stock part, and so the wear on this gearbox doesn't actually seem that bad. These patterns are the machine patterns. I suppose this is the wear, but the grooves in it, and the new one, which is of a later design. The part numbers differ by 1, and the Yamaha website says that this is the replacement. And looking closely, it has slightly larger dogs. So this might have been a known not defect, but a known sort of weak spot. Down to the last inch of battery power. Wow, what do I do with that? Shove it in the recycle bin. I don't know what it's made of. So the next time we see this, I'll be reinstalling it.